never leave a true love for a few faults, because no one is perfect, and sometimes the flaws we dwell on are the very things that make love real and beautiful. Too often, people walk away from something rare, focusing only on what is missing, rather than cherishing what they have. Love isn't about perfection, it's about patience, understanding, and choosing someone every single day, despite their imperfections. Emily and Ryan had been together for years, their love story beginning in the crowded hallways of their college. From the moment they met, there was an undeniable connection between them. Ryan was charming, carefree, and full of life, while Emily was more structured, a perfectionist who planned everything in advance. Despite their differences, they fit together in a way that made sense at least in the beginning. At first, Emily loved Ryan's spontaneous nature. He made her laugh when she took life too seriously, surprised her with late-night drives just to watch the stars, and always knew how to cheer her up when she was overwhelmed. He was the kind of man who could turn an ordinary moment into something special. Their love was effortless, raw, and passionate. But as time passed, Emily began to notice the little things that once seemed charming, but now felt frustrating. Ryan was forgetful. He missed anniversaries, left his clothes lying around, and sometimes seemed lost in his own world. When she needed his attention, he never planned ahead, always going with the flow, which clashed with Emily's need for structure. Her friends noticed her frustrations and started feeding her doubts. "You deserve better," they would say. "You need someone who puts you first, someone who takes things seriously." At first, she ignored them, but as time went on, their words began to take root in her heart. She started comparing Ryan to other men, the ones who were more organized, more polished, more perfect. One night, after yet another forgotten dinner date, she confronted him. "Do you even care about this relationship, Ryan? Do you even try?" she snapped, frustration evident in her voice. Ryan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Emily, I love you, but love isn't about remembering every date or doing everything perfectly. It's about being there, about choosing each other despite the flaws." But Emily wasn't convinced. She had built up this idea in her head that love should be effortless, that the right person would never disappoint her. She convinced herself that she deserved someone who would never forget a single detail, who would always meet her expectations. So, after days of overthinking, she made a painful decision. She walked away. Ryan didn't beg her to stay. He simply looked at her with sad but understanding eyes and said, "If you believe you'll find something better, then go. But just remember, real love isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone whose imperfections you can live with." At the time, she felt relief. She convinced herself she had done the right thing. She spent more time with friends, embraced the single life, and tried to move on. Eventually, she met Adam, a man who seemed to be everything Ryan was not. He was responsible, well organized, always on time, and never forgot important dates. He planned their dates in advance, made sure every detail was perfect, and never did anything to disappoint her. For a while, Emily thought she had found what she was looking for, but something was missing. There were no spontaneous moments, no deep conversations that lasted for hours. She never felt truly comfortable around Adam, as if she always had to present a polished version of herself. She realized that while Adam was everything she thought she wanted, he wasn't the person she needed. One evening, as she sat across from Adam at a fancy restaurant, she realized how hollow their conversations were. There was no laughter, no warmth, no spark. Her mind kept drifting back to Ryan, to the way he used to look at her with pure love in his eyes, to the way he made her laugh, until her stomach hurt. It hit her like a wave. She had traded something real for an illusion of perfection. That night, she found herself walking through the old park where she and Ryan used to spend their evenings. She sat on their favorite bench and let the memories wash over her. The way he used to hold her close, The way he would sing terribly just to make her laugh. The way he loved her despite her own flaws. She had thrown it all away for the wrong reasons. Tears filled her eyes as she realized the truth. Ryan had never been the problem. She had been so focused on his imperfections that she never acknowledged her own. She had expected him to be perfect while forgetting that love was about embracing flaws, not running from them. With a pounding heart, she picked up her phone and dialed his number. The phone rang for what felt like an eternity before he finally answered. "Emily?" His voice was cautious, unsure. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Ryan, I made a mistake." There was silence on the other end, and she could hear him take a deep breath. "What kind of mistake?" "I left you because I was too focused on what you weren't, instead of appreciating what you were. I thought love had to be perfect, but I was wrong. I let go of something real, because I was chasing an illusion." Her voice trembled as she spoke. Ryan sighed softly. "Do you know how much it hurt when you walked away, Emily? Do you know how hard it was to love you, knowing you were always looking for something more?" Her heart clenched. "I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but if there's even a part of you that still loves me, I want to try again." Another silence stretched between them, and she held her breath, afraid of what he might say. Then, finally, he whispered, "I never stopped loving you, Emily. But this time, if we do this, you have to love me for who I am, not who you want me to be." She nodded, even though he couldn't see her. "I promise." That night, as they met under the same starry sky where their love had first begun, Emily realized something important. "But this time, if we do this, you have to love me for who I am, not who you want me to be." Many people walk away from love, believing they'll find something better, only to realize too late that true love is rare. Never leave a true love for a few faults, because in the end, you may look back and realize that the love you lost was the only love that truly mattered. True love is never about perfection. It's about choosing someone every day, despite their flaws, and embracing the beauty of imperfection. Walking away in search of something better often leads to the realization that what we had was already special. Love requires patience, understanding, and the ability to see beyond minor faults, to appreciate the depth of a genuine connection. So, never let go of a true love just because of a few shortcomings. Because in the end, real love is rare and irreplaceable. I am sure that you have improved your English skills by listening to this story.